All right, you guys, welcome back to Mixtape Talks.
my goodness.
We have myself, Jason, here today, Amaris, Marissa, and we have your friend. You guys probably follow her on Instagram, your friend Val, Instagram handle. But Val, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today. Pleasure to have you. I want everyone to know how serious she took this. She actually looked up YouTube videos on how to do a good podcast. So I want you guys to go and drop comments. Let her know how she did.
Please do the same.
Well, I appreciate that because you actually took the time.
I don't want to waste my time. I want this to be good.
No, we thank you for making your way from Orange County out here. I personally requested to have you on. You know, we have our new partnership with Meals by Mel, and she has a whole array of athletes from guys to girls, but I was very attracted to your Instagram because of what you display, right? Like you're a mother, which we'll get into, you're an entrepreneur, but at the same time, you also model for like clothing lines, and you do a lot of stuff on Instagram that I feel a lot of moms feel like they can't do because they are moms. And so for me, I'm always interested in people that take their life, whatever cards are dealt, kids, husband, single, but then they build their empire with it. And that's what I kind of got from you. So I wanted to first kind of figure out, like, how did you become this, your friend Val on Instagram? Where did your fitness journey even start?
Man, my fitness journey started when I was probably like 18, 19 years old, fresh out of high school. I just really like sports. I wasn't great at them, but I like to be active. I like the feeling that it gave me. So after high school, I was like, what the heck am I going to do? So one of my friends just told me like, hey, let's go to Planet Fitness. Let's go to the gym. Let's work out together. So I went with her. I remember doing the same routine over and over again every single time I was there. But I liked the feeling that it gave me. And then after that, I went over to a more intense kind of gym, hardcore, saw trainers there, saw them training people, and I joined like group fitness classes trying to kind of just learn. One of my friends that I met there ended up opening her own gym. It was in Santa Ana at the time. It closed during 2020. But it was called Be More Athletics, and it was just like a group of trainers training like a large group of people, and it just built this huge community of the same people coming together, working out, and just having a great time while doing it. So during that time, I was in college. I was studying to be a broadcast journalist, and I just wanted, I don't know, I've always kind of liked like media and stuff like that. So I thought I wanted to do that with my life. So when I joined that gym, I was kind of known for my butt during that time.
Hey, it's okay. We can always appreciate that.
We can. So my friend asked me if I would teach a booty camp class there 2 times a week while I was still in college. And I was like, yeah, sure. Never trained before, never done that, but I love being here.
Just dove right into it.
I just went right into it. I probably, I learned as I went, because it went from like, not knowing how to train to training like 20 girls at a time, which was like crazy. And I was so young. But I loved it. I guess I wasn't super confident in myself at the moment to say like, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So I continued with school. I ended up doing HR for a really long time. So I was in HR. I was at Marriott's, and I helped open a few Marriott hotels, and it was fun. I think overall I enjoy helping people, so I enjoyed it. But then when 2020 hit, they laid me off for about a year. It was supposed to be a month. They laid me off for a year on a temporary leave of absence. So I was still supposed to come back. So during that time, I was like, okay, well, what the heck am I going to do? Like, I need to do something. And the only thing I did know that I loved was training. So my husband and I, we actually thought of like, okay, well, the gyms are supposed to close. This was before like we knew that the gyms were going to close. And I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
We got through it.
But this was the first, like, this is when we knew, like, if there's words, and I think it was like before, I just remember going, it's a long story, but I remember going on OfferUp and just searching, like, what can I get into my gym? So we were just trying to get like random things at the time. And I have this video on Instagram of how my garage gym progressed, but fast forwarding to it, it was pretty cool. And I started posting it on social media more and like posting my workouts again and all that. I've been doing that for so long because of Be More Athletics and because of Instagram and stuff, that then I just decided, well, I'm at home, so I might as well take on some clients and see if that works. So I started taking on some clients and I realized that I absolutely loved it. Like it was convenience in my own home. I was able to just go downstairs. It was a condo at the time. Go downstairs, go into my garage, see my girls, which I absolutely love because you build relationships with the same people you see every, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, depending what they decide to do. And then like before you know it, like I fell in love with it and I just kept doing it. So by the time a year later they asked me to come back to work, I was just kind of like, oh, and during that time too, I had a kid. So during 2020, I was
that's a huge thing to leave
there
out.
was a lot of stuff that happened. So during 2020, while I was training these clients, I got pregnant. It was nice because I got to have the entire pregnancy basically at home on a leave of absence while still training clients. Nice. So I had my baby. They called me back 3 months after to go back to work. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going back to Marriott. I mean, that's what I knew how to do. That's what was my security blanket. And I understood like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing type of thing, So I went back, learning my job all over again. And 3 months in, I was talking to my husband. I was like, man, like, I love it here. I love the people. I love helping these employees out, but it just doesn't feel like it's for me anymore. Like it just doesn't feel like this is what I was put on here to do. Like, so honestly, I'm not a risk taker. Like I'm not like, hey, yeah, let's just freaking like drop everything and see how big this can grow. And I'm more like, okay, I need to make sure this money's coming in. I need to make sure I'm paying my bills. Like, my husband's more of the risk taker. Like he's just kind of like, he's had his business. Well, you don't know, but he's had his business for about 10 years and he started it when he was really young. So he was the one who told me, I told him, I was like, I'm going to do it in like 6 months. I'm going to like slowly get up to there and I'm going to do it. I'm just going to quit my job. He's like, well, why the hell are you going to wait 6 months?
I love that.
Good also the husband.
If you already know
also
you're
the
going to do
husband.
it, just do it now, right?
Yeah,
Don't
I
waste
love
time.
that. Yeah.
Don't waste time.
No, and honestly, the minute he told me that, I mean, when your support system literally tells you like,
Jump.
then you're just kind of like, it's almost like he like cleared this fog in me and just like, I was like, you're right. Why am I going to wait 6 months?
Sure.
And you're telling me that we could do this. Like, okay, all right, I guess we're doing it. So I just remember going into my job and being like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to pursue this full time. I remember writing, jotting down, well, like if I had this many clients, I can cover what I'm making now. So that's my first goal, is to be like comfortable right there. And then I can add on, but this is the first one. So I remember that month where I gave him a whole month where I told him I was going to leave. I just started like saying like, hey, I think it was November 1st. November 1st, I'm taking on clients on Instagram, like who wants to sign up? And I just remember them coming in. Like it was almost overwhelming, the response I got right off the bat. Like they believed something that I didn't believe in myself almost, and I remember putting it on social media and letting people know, like, I'm leaving my job. I want to do this. I want to pursue this. And my friends and people who have known me from high school and just the amount of people who I didn't know were watching who said something. Like, I was just like, what the heck? Like, I didn't even know you watched my stories. Like, I know you followed me, but I didn't know you paid attention to what I say. Like, you just think people just click. Or to even just say, like, oh, about damn time, Val. Like, something like that. Like, I'm like, why didn't I see this in myself? And then now it's just been like, I look back, it's been a full year that I went like full time. In October, I hit the full year. And I was like, part of me is like, what the hell was I doing? Like, why did I waste so much time not doing this? And then part of me was like, you know what? Everything in God's time. I had my 2 boys. I had it under, full healthcare. They were taking care of everything. I had a steady job and it made me feel comfortable during my 2 pregnancies. Now this is my next chapter, and that's kind of how.
I love that. And are you guys done, or do you want another kid?
Oh, I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done. No, I like
Of course, the mom was like, okay, so tell me how many more kids.
Right.
Well, the biggest thing, I think we kind of talked off camera about that, is what I've noticed with people that do see success and they're married in a relationship, there has to be that person behind you, and it's your husband that's over here off camera, that was really pushing you to do it. And we do encounter a lot of people, and Amaris is one of them, that we were like, dude, you'd be so good if you were a trainer. And people see things in you through social media that you don't see in yourself. And that's why I personally love social media.
Yeah.
And again, the first time meeting you ever, but I got that off of going through your social media. It was like, wow, she really has her shit together.
Yeah.
Like whether you do or you don't on Instagram, it's really I could tell you take time with your content. I could tell you take time with your clients. I could tell you put a lot of effort into it. And I think where everybody should start if they're listening to this and they're like, hey, I have a corporate job and, fitness is something I'm passionate about, is, of course, you do want some kind of plan. Like you said, how many clients do I need in order to suffice? You also had a garage ready to go gym wise, but there is no right time.
Never.
Right? Imagine if you would have waited till later.
Yeah.
To start, it probably wouldn't have been what it is now. So it's always big to have that support system. And looking at your husband over there, I can see that he was a big advocate for you to pursue this. And unfortunately, there's some times where people don't have that. So it's good to see. So
and going off of what you just said, what is something that you would say to people who don't have that support system? So like if you didn't have him, do you think that you would have pushed yourself to get to this next level of where you're at now? And if not, what are some steps that somebody who doesn't have that same support system can take?
I mean, I guess it all depends on the person's lifestyle. My husband wanted me to have kids, so like he wanted our babies right away. So that family aspect of it started immediately once after we got married. So I really think that on my own, I would have just worked, because I just love to work. Like I'm kind of like, my mind's always working. But for someone who I feel like, I do think about that. Like I don't take that for granted, that I am extremely blessed. I have a mother who can watch my 2 children. I have a husband who supports me endlessly. And, together we build a great home to where we can both work what we love to do. And I honestly, like, I think about people who don't have that. And I just feel like the best thing you can do is just keep pushing and keep trying, and just, even if it means like what Val can do in a whole day, I can only do 25% of that today because I have kids to attend to. I have a 9-to-5 job to get to pay my bills. Keep doing that 25%, because at the end of the day, you're going to hit the goal sooner than someone who's not going to start because they're saying, I can't start. Like, how am I going to start? Like, I don't have the time for it. We can all make time for things that we really, really love. Some people faster than others, but it's just really just getting started.
Right. I love that.
Progressing forward, no matter.
yeah, and just starting is the biggest thing.
Just starting.
Right. And I love what you said about like even 25%, even 10%. I always tell people some results are better than no results, especially, you deal with clients and they'll be like, hey, I've been doing all this and I haven't seen the results that I wanted to see. I'm like, everybody's timing is different. Whether that be in business, whether that be in relationship, some people get married sooner, some people get married earlier. It's all, like you said, in kind of God's timing. And I feel like there is a plan as long as you continuously push forward with it. And always having that positive mindset, which you already have.
Right.
You knew that's what you wanted to do. You went on OfferUp and you probably bought dumbbells for like $300. So I know that's so expensive.
Or it got crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Especially during that
it was
time.
Oh my God.
You couldn't find it anywhere.
It was crazy. Yeah. I remember we were trying to look up and see, and it was like
$2.50 a pound. I was like trying to do my home gym as well, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah. People were robbing out there.
Oh yeah.
So you had 2 children in the time span of those 2 years. Do you find that there was any obstacles that you had to like overcome with doing that? And if so, what are some of them?
Oh man, I mean, so many obstacles. Kids are a blessing, but they are definitely just so much time. And it's funny because people always ask me like, how do you do it? Like, how do you do 2 toddlers? How do you run a business? How do you do home life? And I'm like, well, I just cry every once in a while, and then I pick it back up.
Pretty much.
And I go, like, sometimes it's just like, just let out a good freaking cry where you're stressed out, and then you feel better. Okay, let's keep working.
I felt that for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like my kids are probably my biggest motivation. Like, I want them to grow up thinking like my mom's like a badass or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want them to be very proud, but I also, in everything there's guilt. I have so many amazing moms in here too, and I know like we all work really hard, and sometimes we think like, oh, but I didn't spend enough time with our babies today, or I didn't pay attention while they were trying to show me something because I was too busy to work and do this. And everything I feel like is like, and it's like you just have to learn to balance it out. And it's hard, especially when you love what you do and you love to work. It's really hard to put it away. One thing that I've done that's really helped me, because my mind is always going and on work and things that I need to do and things that I could be better at, it just doesn't stop, is I started separating my phones. So like, for instance, all of my work stuff, that's the only number you get. And then the minute it's time for the kids, that phone is either going into my closet or it's being turned off. And I'm just solely going to have this tiny little phone that doesn't have Instagram, doesn't have TikTok, doesn't have Facebook. Like, and that's for myself, the one thing that I found, like, this is how I can disconnect. Everyone else can find their own way of doing it, but this is the way that reminds me, hey, you did this because you're reminding yourself that you want to be present in their life right now.
I love that.
And it's just,
that too.
you know,
No,
balancing.
that hits home.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about that. We used to make ourselves really accessible to people, even on the weekends, and we're at home. And now, if you text me during the weekend, you're probably not going to get a text back unless it's something
Talk
urgent.
to you on Monday for sure.
And I think it's funny because I know you could probably attest to this a little bit too. That mom guilt, or even I would say dad guilt, because you own a business as well, and you're probably working, and sometimes you come home and the house is a mess. And I know my wife would be like, "Oh my God, the house is a mess." She feels like, "Oh God, I need to clean," but I'm like, "This is the only day we have really together." So like, it's okay that the house is a mess. It's okay that there's dishes in the sink. It's okay that everything's not washed. And the fact that you recognize that, so I consider you so young and so early in your journey, it is going to be a big plus for you, because it took me a while to really understand everything you understood in 2 years. It took me like 5 years of trial and error to get that. And I think that's good for a lot of moms to hear, a lot of people to hear, is it's okay, right? It's okay to feel guilty, but at the same time, and this is me speaking for you, I kind of feel like what you guys are building, you and your husband, is going to be something that when your kids are older, that you're going to be working less and you're going to be doing less, because you built the foundation for it. So it does take a lot of time now, but in the future.
Yeah, we always talk that 5-year plan from now, like when school starts, you're going to be able to drop off pickups, go to all their sports and all of that. Like, that's
Do you do
the
that
big
now?
goal.
Are your kids in school right now? Or
They're going to start this year, which I'm bittersweet.
How do you feel about that?
Oh my gosh. I know I'm going to cry. I know I'm going to cry, and I'm going to be like, all right, let's get to work.
Yeah.
But I'm a little nervous.
Also, the best thing is to have the husband drop them off. Because I remember when I took my daughter, my wife's like, "I'm gonna cry." I'm like, but to be honest, when I dropped her off and she was like looking at me as I'm leaving, I was like, "Oh, don't do this." Yeah. It is, because you're giving your child to somebody else, and it's like their responsibility now. You've never met them, right? Like, you sign up for this school, you pay your tuition, and you're hoping that they take care of your child and care for them the same way you would.
Yeah.
Right. So I know it is a big step, but I mean, it's good for them. Get the social skills out. Same thing I tell Marissa.
Sure. Yeah.
So what even brought us here is the Meals by Mel, right? We have this awesome sponsorship with them. They're going to be in our gyms. They sponsor the podcast. And I know I was asking you, like, how did you even get connected with Meals by Mel? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I saw one of the athletes that I got into the brand, the Sharifit brand that I'm in. And I saw her posting Meals by Mel, and I was like, I like this company. Like, the food looks delicious.
Yeah.
But what really got me into it was I saw Mel's story when she started. So she started in her kitchen 2 years ago, and women-owned, Latina, like, right? Latina?
She's like, I'm making everything up right now.
No pressure. We have the owner sitting right here at Meals by Mel.
But no, Latina, and I thought, holy cow, like 2 years ago, she started in her kitchen. But I've seen this at UFC. I've seen this at Self-Made. Like, what? Like, I don't understand. But I took my shot and I reached out to her, and I'm like, hey, I want to be part of your team, in the hopes that she would want me to be part of her team. And
that's awesome.
And it worked out, and I'm happy that she agreed, and I've loved the partnership ever since, and the food's amazing.
From our kitchen to yours, this episode is brought to you by Meals by Mel. Enjoy healthy, delicious meals right to your door every day. Use promo code MIX15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Serving LA, Inland Empire, and Orange County areas. Order today. I love that you said that, because I think people are so scared when they see a brand that they want to work with. They're like, oh, I need them to reach out to me. Like, I need to do something more on my Instagram. Obviously you do, but the fact that you're just like, no, I want to work with her, and I'm just going to ask.
reached
like,
out.
you opened up your own door right there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, you got it at a good time, because now people can't just DM me anymore like that. Right.
Yeah.
Right, Melissa? I mean,
People don't have access to
let's
Melissa
be real,
anymore.
man. Meals by Mel, you guys have, besides our podcast and I order them personally, my wife loves them. You've seen them everywhere, and they're growing. And I know I've talked to, again, Melissa, and I told her I wanted you on here, and she even told me, like, working with you has been a blessing as well, and it's something that she wants to grow. So I can see you guys, two strong moms. Again, moms are pretty much taking over the world, I feel like, or maybe I'm just surrounded by a lot of really strong-willed moms. But I feel like it is awesome to see that. And again, same reason why I fell in love with them is their family owned business, the risk takers. It resonates with us because we did the same thing. So seeing you, pursue what you wanted to do after having that HR career
Background, yeah.
right? And we always talk about that. Like it's good because you feel like I have that security blanket. Like HR, I clock in, I clock out. It's great. But I feel like once you take the risk, there's so like, could you ever go back to HR?
Oh, never.
Never, right?
Never.
Why?
I respect it so much.
100%.
I respect
100%.
it a lot. The reason why I wouldn't go back is I feel like I was just meant to do a little bit more.
Or it's the freedom too, right?
The freedom.
And you weren't really living your purpose.
I wasn't. See, I love people. Like I do. I love building connections and I love talking to people. So I would leave the office to go upstairs to go talk to the bartenders and see how their day's going, or go around the hotel and talk to people. And that's the part I loved most about my job was part of my job is building connections. So if you have a problem with someone, you come and you talk to me and you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But as I want growth, and as I see growth, that's less opportunity to leave your office and go do that and go get those connections because you have just endless reports to run and things like that. And I'm just like, I can't see myself giving more of my life to this and then not being happy just for a paycheck.
Right.
For sure.
So.
Ooh, I'm clipping that. That's bars right there.
So what are some future goals for yourself now? Like we can say like in 5 years, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself? I know you do training in home, and then on your actual Instagram, I see just online training. Do you do both?
I do. So honestly, my biggest goal is just growth from there on, but growth for the right clienteles and building my brands to those moms and to those people out there, trying to build things like big Facebook community groups or YouTube groups, or maybe even have a gym down the line where it's like women only gym or something like that, and along that line. So I know it's baby steps, but right now it's like how much, social media is always changing on it. I've been in it for a few years and it's a completely different than when I first started. The following I have now is completely different than the following I've had lately. And even now, like it only pushes it out to the people lately, not the old ones. So it's like trying to keep up with everything while still continuing to grow and maybe even build something online where I'm able to just help as many people as possible. And, moms is literally my thing.
Your passion.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's just finding yourself after pregnancy. You have a baby, and sometimes like you look at the girl in the mirror after you've had the child and you're just like, who is this person? Because she wasn't who she was when she was pregnant, and I don't recognize her. And there's so many people who need things from me. My babies need things from me. My husband needs things from me. My home needs things from me. I want to run my own business, but I still want to be super successful and still be like the best version of Val.
1000%.
But it's hard, right? Like it's super hard. So I think I'm now almost 2 years postpartum with my second one. And I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I found Val again. I found her after postpartum. How can I help other moms find them sooner, or know that it's okay? Like you're not gonna be okay right now. Maybe you don't feel like yourself.
Yeah.
But a year down the line, you're gonna feel better. 2 years down the line, you're gonna feel better. How can I help you to start that journey now instead of like feeling like you're losing yourself as the months and years go by?
Yeah, I love that.
So I think that's my 5-year goal is how can I help as many of those moms as possible, in a sense, virtually, or like building a community doing that.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
I have one child and I didn't give birth to it, obviously. But a lot of the stuff that you're talking on are some of the things that like my wife struggled with. I know Marissa, we've talked kind of like, again, your identity was the gym prior to this and being fit. And again, like you said, like your booty was like kind of like your hottest commodity at the time. And then you have these kids and you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And like for my wife, I work with nothing but trainers. So I know it was hard to kind of like, again, find yourself. Moms out there understand that like, hey, this is temporary. Right. But I know there's so much more that goes on to it that I can't even speak on because I haven't lived it, but it's the way you're building this community around not even just moms, but women in general. I can see it as a male on the outside, and it's so powerful what you're doing. Like you're taking real steps to help people. And I always say body, mind, and soul, right? That's what fitness is to me. Right. And what you're doing is you're kind of like doing everything into one. And I love that.
No, and I love that. I mean, just speaking from I'm 4 months postpartum, and me getting back and realizing like, okay, do I have enough time for the baby and your body, right? Like I'm 4 months postpartum, but like you're still breastfeeding. So you're like trying to figure out your calories. We work in gyms with nothing but beautiful bodies, And so you're just like allowing yourself to have grace to be like, hey, I might not be physically where I want to be, but that doesn't change who I am. That doesn't change like the person or the effort that I put in to get me here. So I think just hearing that validation over and over, so many moms listening to this, no matter if it's 3 months, 2 years postpartum, because that's still postpartum, like you're still going through all those emotions. I think that's great. And it's such a positive light to share with moms, especially moms who want to still work and want to still be able to do everything, but don't know their balance, but they'll figure it out, So I love that. Absolutely love that.
So I want to kind of stick with the social media aspect of it, right? Because you can say that social media helped build your brand that it is now.
Absolutely.
And you kind of spoke on how it changed over the years. What is the biggest difference between Val 3 years ago, social media in the fitness, and Val now?
Oh man, that's a different Val.
Did you archive all those pictures already?
Right, God, find those. No, and I barely did them recently too. When I archived everything, I did because I was like, I don't want to archive anything because this is my journey. I want you guys to see it. But then after going into online coaching, I was like, well, this could be the first time they ever go on my page, and if that's what they see. I don't want them to see that. So I want them to get a good first impression.
And did you already have a big following going into 2020?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is where my struggle is and what my hurdle is in my work field. So when I started my social media, it was back when I was like, I think 18 again. But I was trying a whole different approach that was not me at all. So I thought like, okay, well, we're going on Instagram. Let's go to the beach. Let's take some cute bikini pictures. Let's pop the booty. Let's, do all that stuff that looks beautiful. Like I printed those pictures. I have them for when I'm older in age. I can look back and I'm like, oh wow, you look great. But
love that.
So you can be like, hey, look it. Your mom. That's your mom. Right?
That's your mom. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, during the time, was I comfortable doing it? Did it feel like me, and it didn't. Yeah. But I grew an enormous male following. And that was my passion. I'm like, this is, now it's flipping it. So for the past, let's say like 2 years, I think I've been trying to flip the audience. And that's been the biggest struggle with social media is when you work so hard on a product and you post it and you're like, people are going to like this. And then your audience is male. And then social media isn't pushing it out to those women who want to see it because they're DMing me. It's coming.
Yeah.
It could be like a mental game with you.
Oh,
right.
100%.
It's like, I've worked so hard. I'm getting these DMs from these girls, but it's not pushing it out to the people who want to see it. And I feel like that's been my biggest struggle is like reminding myself, keep going. It doesn't matter what your views are right now. It doesn't matter what the comments are. You're going to eventually hit those right people. Just keep being you and keep being honest to yourself. And what I post now is something that I can say is 100% me. And it's, eventually the right people will see it, but I can't stop.
Yeah.
We had that conversation actually, our last episode that we recorded about those obstacles. Like you put out this content and then you're not really getting those likes or those views and you're like, what is going on? But you're right. It's just a different type of audience. And maybe my Instagram last year was for this type and now it's just not for you anymore. And it's like, you just have to keep being consistent and just keep going. Cause eventually, like you said, you're right. Like the right people are going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had that same conversation.
You know what's funny with that is that whole mindset shift. A lot of female trainers, I would say more than anything, go through that where we all of us, we get addicted to how many views and likes that we get. So, if you go to the beach and you're in a bikini, you're going to get a lot of likes and a lot of, reposts and stuff. But how does that help your business?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not
it really doesn't.
They're not going to buy from you.
No.
They want to look at you, but they're not going to buy from you.
And a lot of people watch, but they don't comment or they don't like.
Support,
but it doesn't mean they're not watching. You're not motivating them.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like you said, it's like your audience back then was like men. But what are those? They're just watching and giving those likes. But what are they going to do for you?
Yeah.
When it comes to you actually putting out a product or wanting to sell something or push something, like that doesn't mean anything. And then you can have somebody who has maybe like 500 followers, but those are like really valuable
Yeah.
customers, and all 500 of those people are going to purchase from you. It's
And
more
that's why-
valuable than having,
Yeah. Micro influencers are such a thing now
Yes.
because
Huge.
yeah,
Huge.
it's huge. So yeah, that's the obstacle, and that's what I'm working with. But it's working and it's paying off. It's that mindset you got to keep.
What would
gotta
you
keep going.
tell? Because we work with so many trainers, right? And we have a lot of trainers who, you know, have that doubt, like, I'm going to do what everybody else is doing. But like, I know sometimes when we talk and sit down with them, we're like, talk to your ideal client, right? Talk to that person that you want to help, or maybe you were in the past. Like, how did you get out of yourself? Being, this is how I need to be, and now this is what I want to be. Like, what made you start showing up with who you wanted to be, instead of just like the bikinis and
your more authentic self.
how do you show up as your authentic self?
Yeah.
Because that's hard for people. People
Yeah.
are just like, or rather be like, oh, I'm going to post this photo, I'm going to get 2,000 likes. But that's how they validate themselves,
Yeah.
right?
I think for me, the biggest thing that's helped me was, and I thank all these people, but the messages that I would get from people say, hey, that reel that you posted, like, they won't comment, but they'll DM me.
That's always
Same here. Same.
that's always the
But
funniest
they'll
thing.
be
to
like,
me.
I really appreciate this. Or, hey, I really like that recipe. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
They're not commenting, but they're telling me that. And I've even thought, I haven't gone around to do it yet, but I've even thought, like, man, this makes me feel so good in the moment. Like, it gives me such a high to go in the kitchen right now and produce something, or go into my gym and create something for this person, but behind them, this clientele, this type of person. And then you forget sometimes as the day goes on, and then you're upset because of your views or whatever. So I've thought of, like, you know what? Screenshot every single comment you like and put an album on your phone. Anytime you're feeling upset and like feel like you're not producing enough, you're not doing good enough for stuff, go back and read it and get that high again, and then go produce again.
See, I'm the opposite. I do that with hate. Like,
got a hate folder.
yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that comment, screenshot, save, and then yeah. I mean, that's the
As you're on the
everybody
steering wheel.
works different.
I take stuff personal. I take things personal, but that's a good feel. I wish I was like that.
And like for me, mentally, like like they could say something and it'd be like a little slight, but I'd be like, oh, I know they're thinking, okay, watch, I'm gonna really, and then I don't go there, I don't say it, but that I don't save it, but in my head, I'm like, mental note, got you. And then when we get to where we want to be, because we're always going to get to where we want to be, because we're not going to quit.
Right.
That's what I tell people. Like, it's only a matter of time for me
Yeah.
to get to where I want to be, because there's really no quit. It's just going to
Yeah.
keep progressing, even if it's small. Right? Like 2020, we kind of stalled, but then we progressively been growing. So that's going to be something that's key. Staying with social media, because I'm always fascinated, like, how you made that switch. Did you kind of come across any issues in your marriage with you posting so much of you in the bikini and you getting these DMs and your husband's like, what the heck? Like, this is for me, right? Like, so how do you overcome, or what are some of the problems and that you could speak on that you guys went through, and how did you guys kind of resolve those?
Oh man, so when I was younger during that time, it was before we were even engaged. I was like around 18, 19, and I was posting like that. He did not like it at all. He didn't like it, but he's always been like the quiet, like, you know, he's not going to call me out. He's not going to say anything. He'd just be like, oh, I don't really like it. Until eventually he wanted to propose, and he didn't want me to pursue that kind of career. So he went and told my mom. He went and told my mom, and he said, you know, I don't like it. And I remember my mom, you know, being Mexican and stuff like that, and like my dad too, they were just like, well, that's not you. Why are you doing that? Like, you don't like that. Like, you're not even like that. Like, why? And I'm not very like sexy. Like, I'm not like, ooh, like, I'm actually so happy I met him so young, because I don't think I could like flirt being sexy, because it's just not natural
We talk
for
about
me.
this all the time.
It's not. It's just I'm more of a goofy. And
Do you feel like that the reason why you were like putting yourself out to be sexy was the people you were surrounded by?
Oh,
Because I
absolutely.
know your friends, they're very sexy, right?
Yes.
So do you feel like that had an influence
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
you? Okay.
all my friends, most of my best friends are extremely sexy. Like, and I love it. Like, I live vicariously through them. So at the time of social media, I thought that was the route. That's how you became an influencer, you know? So that was really the only thing I knew. I didn't really know, like, hey, you become an influencer by influencing people by being yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I
Yeah.
was so young. I was 18, 19 years old. And, that's a good question. I would say yes.
So like some of the women, and again, the goal is always to highlight you and what you do best. What would you say for women that are listening that are in the, or I want to say, because you do online training as well, right?
I do.
So like they're listening now, or maybe they live close to Brea. Like, what is something that separates you? Like, what is your core values when it comes to your personal training programs?
Oh man, my biggest one is that I care. Sometimes I care too much, where I'm just like, put your phone away. It's fine. You can get to them. But it's not hard, but it's harder to find someone who's going to absolutely care for you and your best interest, and like for you to make that progress you really want, versus someone who wants the money for the hour. So me and my clients, like I care what goes on in your life. I mean, even my online clients, like when they pop on there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm following you on Instagram because I want to see what's going on. Like I want to see what your lifestyle's like too. So that I would say that's my biggest one, is I care a lot. Yeah.
You're invested in each person.
As a person.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that like mentally taxing?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's where the
You're
phone
like,
came
please say
in.
yes.
If you would have said no, I'd have been like, no, because I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
when you invest in, and you can tell on social media, like when you invest a lot into somebody or people that maybe don't have the same drive as you,
Right.
or dedication as you, and like you said, you're looking at their stories and they're like, oh, out eating, I don't know, whatever it is, a burger. You're like, dude, we just had this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right? Like I always, there's a fine line that I do where
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to call them out because I don't want them. It's almost
Oh,
like a parent.
absolutely.
I don't want them to think
I
like you're
call
just
them out.
looking at, do you?
Oh, my girl, I'm like, she'll come in and I'm like, girl, I just saw you with all those drinks this past weekend and those chicken wings an hour before you got here. Like, let's go. Like, I call them out.
love
Like,
that.
I
I
just
don't
want them to know I see you.
See, now you're going to be blocked from everybody's stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I care too. That's
Yeah,
all.
you care. Yeah.
No, it almost goes like even parenting. Like people tell me, like you don't want to be too hard on your kids because you want them to still come to you.
Right.
You want them still to express, if they're going through problems. So I try not to, like, even if I see something with trainers, I'm like, I'm not going to address it now. I'm just going to watch it.
Yeah.
And then
Later.
in conversation, we'll kind of have that. So, I mean, it's always hard to be so invested in somebody. But it is very rewarding, like you said, especially when you see their mindset shift. You see their lifestyle shift. You see, one of the biggest things for me when I used to train a lot of clients was like, you'll see a female that would only come in like an oversized shirt and sweats. And then one summer they come in and they're in a sports bra and shorts.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Or they went to Lulu and they're like, you dropped some money on a new gym outfit.
Sometimes I even say too, like, I almost feel selfish for how it makes me feel. Because then I'm like, am I doing this for them or for me? Because they're like, I see them feeling more confident and they're so happy with themselves and they're just like, wow, I never thought I could do this. And like, now that I see that I can do it, and then it makes me feel good. So I'm like, I almost feel selfish for how good that it makes me
Yes.
feel to make you feel good. Do you feel like that sometimes?
Oh, for me, like the minute that they progressed in weight, when they're like, they could only do body weight and now they're lifting like 200 pounds hip thrust. I'm like, do you remember like how many months ago when you could only do body weight? Like, do you remember that? It's like, that's always my most high moment, is building them up to get to that. And then them being so proud of themselves. It's like it's the same thing as you're saying, like you're so happy for yourself for them. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
So, I know you do like online training and you do in-home training. For somebody who's just starting out as a trainer and maybe wants to step into doing more online training, what are some steps that you would say they can take to be successful in that?
In online training, produce content. Produce content. As much as it's like, man, but this one's not going to do well, or this one's not going to hit. People are just always watching. And the more you produce, the more you show them what you can do and how you can help them. And talking on your stories. Sometimes like we get into these funks where we don't feel like talking on our stories, or we don't feel like sharing our knowledge, or maybe we don't even feel like pretty that day and we don't want to put our face in front of the camera. At the end of the day, what you're seeing and like that glimpse of insecurity, you're the only one seeing it. No one else is looking at that. They're just listening to what you have to say. So it's just going out and like starting and doing it and not giving up, because it's a hard business to be in. Like it's saturated by a lot of coaches, a lot of trainers, but just keep trying to show why you stand out from everyone else.
It goes back to just being your authentic self.
Yeah.
Man, I love
Good.
that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so happy that you were the first Meals by Mel person. Thank you, Melissa, for bringing such an awesome guest.
Yeah, definitely.
I know Amber's kind of talked on it. is there a timeline for you? Because I know you said you eventually want to open a gym. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you see yourself in like 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, like opening and pursuing and opening a gym in the Orange County area?
Oh, absolutely.
Well-
All girls gym.
Do you have
Ooh, an all
why,
girls
why
gym.
old girls, if you don't mind me asking?
I just feel like a lot of my clients, being a home gym,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a reason why these clients are choosing a trainer in a home gym versus a public gym.
Yeah, they feel more
You know,
comfortable.
yeah, it's more comfort. It's yourself. You don't have to worry about people around you seeing you. Like you just, if you're not there yet in your fitness journey, sometimes you want a more secluded, comfortable place to be. And that's where my mindset goes. Well, what would make you feel more comfortable? If is it the guys? Like, is it that? Then what about an all girls gym? You know, I personally would have felt more comfortable in an all female gym starting off versus just jumping into a gym. Because even for a new person working out, the weight section can be so intimidating.
Yep.
But would it be as intimidating if it was just all females? Like, so
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
What about you? What do you think, Marissa?
Honestly, I think it's great.
No, I mean, you've been working in all kinds of gyms.
I know. I mean,
Are
we've
you, are
been.
you an all girl type of gym?
You know what? I think,
Like a curves? Is that what I was thinking of? I was thinking of curves.
Oh,
Right, that's-
you're right. Like an old lady gym, though. We can't do
Was it? No, I mean,
yeah,
I
it
know.
was like stations, right? A minute station, like
Yeah,
a
it
circle.
was
I mean, for me, and this is just the way I look at gym settings: is the gym setting and the culture. It is going to come directly from you.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's going to come directly from you, whether it's all women, whether it's women and men, because you know it's your gym, so you can pick and choose who you want in there. So if there's a guy that's like, "Hey, I saw your archived pictures back in the day, like I want to meet you," which you'll get. You have the authority to be like, "No, we're full now," or where we're
Yeah.
at. But I feel like everybody follows your lead. So for me, I always feel like you're missing a huge demographic of men out there that equally feel insecure by
Yeah.
other men going to gym, whether they're extremely overweight, you know, and they feel insecure being around guys that know what they're doing.
But I think that goes back to, you know, your avatar, you know, your person that you want to help. And so your gym's not going to be the gym for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's-
And she's totally
Yeah.
okay
just
with
like
that.
I'm not
It's a
the coach for
specialty.
everybody.
Exactly.
Like, everyone's
do you
gonna
coach men
find-
at all or no?
I don't.
Not even online? No, you won't do it?
I'll do it. They're not my demographic. Like they don't. I've probably had like one or two ask about it, and that's it. And I even question. I'm like, are you,
Yeah.
you just want me to train you?
I kind of think that's the beauty of like self-made. Like it's both men and women that are in there, but, or I shouldn't say about self-made, I should just say more of a private gym, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a private gym, it's like you have those trainers in there and the only people in there are the people that they're training.
Yeah.
And everybody in that gym is there for the same goal. They want to feel better about themselves. They're working on themselves.
Absolutely.
They like choosing a private gym because the commercial gyms, obviously they're, you know, that's when they feel embarrassed or they don't feel comfortable. So I guess I can see what you're saying too, is like you're missing that demographic just because a lot of the people, they feel the same way, like men and women.
Yeah.
But I do see the beauty in an all women's facility as
Oh
well.
yeah, no,
too.
and there's
Yeah.
a lot of successful ones. I don't mean that to change your mind, like,
Right.
hey, you should do this.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
At the end of the day, you're doing very well.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
don't
even- yeah.
take my advice. What I'm saying is, like, I've seen women that are kind of like very similar to what you're saying. They're very insecure,
Yeah.
and our gym is very in your face.
Yes.
But the trainers we have there are also very supportive. So you'll see a guy in there doing
Yeah.
deadlifts with the shirt off, and he'll see somebody be like, "Hey, are you
Yeah.
new here? Let me walk you over there." So I feel like that's the gym culture, though, right?
Yes,
And I
yeah,
feel like when
sure.
you protect somebody too much from that gym culture, the first time they go to like an LA Fitness
Yeah.
or a Gold's Gym, they're like, "This is not the Urfriendval gym that I'm used to."
Yeah.
So it's a culture shock. So I like people to kind of be like, "Hey, look, there is this side of it,
Yeah.
but there's also this side of
Yeah.
it, right?" And they intertwine with each other. So I'm not trying to change your business model.
No, but yeah,
It's
even
just like
being a
you're
gym
gonna do
owner,
great no matter
yeah.
what you do. It's
But-
just always
yeah.
it's kind of
But even
Yeah.
me being a gym owner, I go to somebody's house for Pilates, you know, and she's a female. I sometimes don't want to go because at the gym we're working. So sometimes if we're working out at our own gym, it's kind of like, am I really going to work out right now? Or am I going to do my job that I'm supposed to be doing while
Yeah.
I'm at the gym?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, there's pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons for
Well,
sure.
I, for one, even though it's an all-girl gym, I would love to be invited.
Yeah.
When we finally do it, hopefully soon.
Let me know about the
I
grand
love
opening.
the
Yeah,
vision.
yeah.
All girls day.
All girls
Yeah.
day.
Girls' day.
But we wanted to thank you so much for taking time to be here. I feel like I got to know now I know why your Instagram handle seems so
Yeah.
it fits
Your
you. Yeah,
friend
your
Val.
friend. Like,
Yeah, I
I
love
feel like
it.
you're my friend Val now.
For sure.
You know, so I mean, again, taking the time. Thank you again to your husband for you guys coming out there. I love to see it. Everything that I thought of you on Instagram is
Is exactly
Yeah.
you.
what I thought.
It is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yes. So I always do this because I know one of the things I love about podcasting on long form is people get to know you outside of like a 30-second reel or a picture.
Yeah.
So I want you to leave the people that follow you, the people that support you, the people that actually helped you go from HR, corporate gym to now.
Okay.
I just want you to kind of leave them with something.
Oh, that was a question.
That was for you. Yeah. I want you to leave. Yeah.
Open mic.
Yeah. Open mic to the people that support you, the people that have been your clients.
Got you. I mean, all I can really say is thank you. You know, a lot of us, it might not seem like the fact that you guys are saying that I seem super confident, I know what I'm doing, and everything seems good on Instagram. Like it still hits as a shock to me sometimes. I'm like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't be continuing on and like working towards this if it wasn't for the people who have supported me and have reached out to spend even that 2 seconds to say something kind.
Yeah.
That's gotten me to keep working and keep wanting to produce content, keep helping others out there. So all I can say is thank you so much.
I love it.
I love it.
And so if you guys want, we're going to drop your Instagram. We're going to drop everything on here. So if you guys are looking for in-person training, I know you're kind of limited spots because we were kind of talking how full you are. If you're in the Brea, Orange County area, we will drop your Instagram on there. Online training, you are accepting accepting more clients. Okay. So again, your friend Val, thank you so much for making time for us. We appreciate it. And as always, you guys, thank you for listening. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube. We will be dropping a lot more content on there coming soon. So thank you guys for all the support. We love you.
Awesome. Appreciate you.